Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your preview for Manchester United versus Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss. As usual, hit the like and subscribe button. Get your comments in below. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with rotation, and obviously Manchester United have a lot of games coming up. We're in the middle of a very busy period in the lead up to the international break in a couple of weeks' time, and obviously with the injuries that we've had over the previous few weeks, rotation is going to be key here. We've had a lot of players that are coming back from injury, a lot of players that are maybe starting out within the team, the likes of Hannibal, for example, the likes of Palestri, so on and so forth. And of course, look, we played midweek. We play on a Saturday, and then also we play next Tuesday again in the Champions League. So rotation is going to be important. And I think as we get more players back, rotation is going to be made a little bit easier, you would have to say. But look, we've got the likes of Highland, Rashford, who, sat out last week's game. Obviously, Highland came on with a few minutes to go, but, didn't really have a lot to do. The game was done and dusted by that stage. So you would expect him to come back in. Rashford is an interesting one on the left-hand side because Garnacho played really well, scored a goal, looked dangerous, looked quite composed on the ball when he was attacking. His work rate was really good in defence as well, so it's going to be interesting to see. I can probably see him, if he's not playing on the right-hand side, I could see him potentially maybe dropping to the bench for this one and Rashford coming back in. But there's going to be a lot of games for him to continue, to impress Erik ten Hag. Look, we've got Mason Mount back. Does he come in on the right-hand side? Does Palestri keep his place? It's a good headache for him to have. And then we've also got the centre midfield. We've got Casemiro, who's played, pretty much every minute so far this season. And he was really impressive on the weekend, midweek. And I think he is the type of player that probably starts the season slow. Wayne Rooney done it throughout his whole career. Comes back after a bit of time off throughout the summer. Is not really 100% sharp, but after 3 or 4 games, all of a sudden everything clicks and he's right back into it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But rotation is going to be vital over the next few weeks because we cannot have a relapse in terms of injuries. We need to keep everybody as fit as possible. We also seen Anthony Martial play quite well midweek as well, got a goal, delighted for him. He is going to have to stay fit, like I said before, because he's going to be the backup, you would have to say, probably to Rasmus Højlund throughout the entirety of the season. But we are going to have to call on him throughout the season on a number of different occasions because obviously Rasmus Højlund is not going to be able to play 60 games if we are to go deep into, a lot of the competitions like we did last year. So I want to see rotation. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Amrabat and a really good full debut for him midweek under the lights at Old Trafford. Really delighted for him. Happy to, see how happy he was in the post-match press conference as well and, giving his interview. He's the type of player you want within your squad, isn't he? You wish all players were like him. He's literally willing to play anywhere as long as he gets onto the pitch. Happy to play at left back. But it was when he went into midfield is when I was mostly impressed by him. Now, a lot is going to depend on whether Reguilon is available on the weekend. Obviously, we'll find that out once Erik ten Hag does his interview before the game. And I think if Reguilon is fit and able to play, I think Amrabat plays in midfield. If not, he probably plays at left back again, and provides that cover. I hope Reguilon is fit, not just because Amrabat gets to move into midfield, but also because Reguilon has been playing really well for us in the few games that he's played, and you want to keep the momentum going for him as well. There has been talks that Manchester United behind the scenes in training, the training staff, the management are really, really happy with Reguilon and potentially might make a move to sign him on a full-time basis in January. But that remains to be seen. There's a lot of football to be done between now and then. But back to Amrabat. Going into centre midfield last week, he really took the pressure off of Casemiro. And we've seen Casemiro having one of his best games. And I think that was a lot of that was down to the fact that Amrabat was in there with him, providing that defensive cover, providing legs, and a good footballer who's looking for the ball all of the time. I think it takes a lot of the pressure off Casemiro. I think they're going to play an awful lot together this season. That's probably going to mean Mason Mount being pushed out onto the right-hand side because Bruno Fernandes, of course, we know is more effective through the middle. But I think a lot hinges on Amrabat and the amount of game time he plays in central midfield alongside Casemiro, I think if they can strike up a partnership together, it will mean the likes of Mason Mount goes out onto the right hand side. So we're finding a little bit of balance within the squad all of a sudden, and a couple of players coming back. All of a sudden, you find that now we've still got a long way to go before we're back to a fully fit squad. Luke Shaw, Malacia, Wan-Bissaka, these types of players are all waiting to come back, and the sooner the better. But I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of Amrabat, I have to say, and I hope you are too. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now let's get into my predicted 11, and I suppose the predicted 11 that I'm going to go with all depends on one player, and that's Reguilon playing. And I'm going to give my predicted 11 as if he is going to be fit, because I think it will affect the entirety of the team if he is not fit and he's not available. And I think it will have maybe a trickle effect through the team. And I'll explain that in a moment. But this is the team that I'm going to go with, guys. Onana in goal, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof and Reguilon as our back four. Now again, obviously Martinez, not 100% sure whether he's going to be back or not in time. If he is, he's probably not going to start. You would expect maybe if we can go a goal or two up to bring him on later in the game, give him some minutes that way. So that's going to be the back four. Back five obviously with Onana. In midfield then I've gone with Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno Fernandes. I think this is our strongest midfield. I really, really do, especially on the back of seeing Amrabat put in such a good performance on the weekend. And our top three then, our forward three, I'm going with Mason Mount on the right, I'm going with Rashford off the left, and I'm going with Highland through the middle. I think this is how Erik ten Hag is probably going to go. Obviously, we've seen Pellistri and Garnacho play really well midweek, you would have to say, but albeit against the weakened Crystal Palace side as well. They didn't have a first team squad, a first team 11 out either. I think this is probably how it's going to go. Now, in relation to Reguilon, if he's not fit, the trickle down effect that you will see then is you will see probably Amrabat dropping back into that left back spot. That will then probably bring the likes of Mason Mount back into central midfield also. And then you go with maybe a Pellistri or a Garnacho on that right-hand side, depending on what Erik ten Hag wants to go with. So again, like I said, it's very subjective here based on whether Reguilon is fit or not. If he is, this is how I think Erik ten Hag will set up. But again, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know your predicted 11. Would you agree with this predicted 11? Would you change it in any way? Maybe bring in Pellistri or Garnacho, given they've played so well. Even the likes of Hannibal, does he maybe come in instead of Mount if Amrabat drops back to left back? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, if we're talking about a score prediction, again, look, very, I suppose, confident display midweek against Crystal Palace. Manchester United didn't have their strongest team out. Crystal Palace didn't have their strongest team out. So we're bringing some confidence into this game, you would have to say. Obviously, there are going to be changes, and it all depends on whether them changes have a positive or a negative impact on the team, because the team that played the majority of the game on Wednesday night were good. On Tuesday night, were good and played really well. Marcus Rashford coming in, Rasmus Højlund, we know he'll give you 100%. Whatever other changes are going to be made, it's all about work rate. We've seen Garnacho and Pellistri come in really working hard. We've seen Hannibal really, really working hard. And that is something that we're going to have to take into this game. Again, if we're to get something out of it. I said it in the preview before the game on Tuesday night, that hard work will take you a long way against teams like Crystal Palace in terms of getting a result. So we need that again. We need to take our chances, which we did do on Tuesday night. We need to do that again. It's happened too many times this season where we've started the game really well, we haven't taken our chances, then all of a sudden the opposition comes back into the game and so on and so forth. Midweek, we took our chances early and killed the game off early, which I want to see again. If I'm going with a score prediction, I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to Manchester United. I'm going for another clean sheet, 3 in a row. We're starting to solidify that defence, which is good to see. Varane is back. We're settling into a back four there, it has to be said. Albeit, even though it's chopping and changing, it's good to see some clean sheets there. And if I'm going with goal scorers, I'm going to go with Rasmus Højlund and Bruno Fernandes to be on the score sheet. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below as well, guys. Like I said, we will be live doing a watch along for it on Saturday from 2:30, so make sure you're joining us for that. Please hit the like and subscribe button, hit share, and turn on the bell notification. You'll get notified anytime we go live or any new piece of content is up. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon. Take it easy.